How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail for Bartesian's best deal ever. Only at bartesian.com/cocktail.
Getting caught in the wrong shoes can interrupt your plans for the day, like when that 10% chance of rain ends up looking more like 100%. When the transition to fall and winter feels more like experiencing every season on the same day, there's the Allbirds Mizzle collection. These shoes were made for misty morning walks, surprise snow days, and anything a trip to the dog park might bring. The whole collection brings together water-repellent technology and classic style, so you can stay warm, dry, and comfy during your everyday adventures. Cross off errands with the splash protection on the Wool Runner Mizzle. Dash through cold and wet weather with all-condition traction and reflective details on the Wool Dasher Mizzle. Or upgrade to next-level protection with the Mud Guard on the Wool Runner-Up Mizzle Plus. Go to allbirds.com and use code FRESHSOCKS for a free pair of socks with your purchase. ALLBIRDS.com, code FRESHSOCKS.
Hey, it's your financial maven, Samantha M, Besnoff, CPA, and after almost 25 years in the accounting world, I've decided to share my insights and passion about money. Knowing your money and hopefully feeling less stress about your money is what I call being financially empowered. Welcome to the Your Financial Maven podcast. I am so excited to be here to talk with you all about money, and it's my first episode of what I hope to be an exciting and judgment-free space to share things about money. A year ago, I was given an amazing opportunity to be a part of the Seneca Women Network Podcast Academy and have spent the last year learning, recording, and producing what I hope will be an inspiring season. My episodes will be filled with me talking, I love to talk, talking with others in the financial world, and also talking to others not in the financial world, all about money, and of course the importance of understanding your money. In a little bit, I will be sharing with you my interview with Leslie Roth of Leading Ledger Bookkeeping, where we talk about budgeting, saving, and just about money. But first, I wanted to share with you my thoughts about budgeting and how easy and simple it can be for you to do. And of course, the importance of why you should budget. It's all about knowing your money. I get it. People are freaking out over the economy, prices of things, how much gas costs, groceries, etc. And I do completely get that. So here's the thing. Budgets can be flexible and not set in stone. They should fit what you need in your life. Budgets and looking and understanding your money doesn't need to take up your time or your space on a daily basis. But I do think it is important to, at least at a minimum, review your money cash flow at least once a month. Okay, so here are my 3 simple steps. 1, what is your money? What is the income that is coming in? 2, what money, your expenses, are going out the door? And 3, what does that leave you in your money bucket? What's left over? So I do suggest that you sit down with pen and paper, or you can do it on the computer in an Excel spreadsheet, and make a note of all of the income, like your paycheck, that you are going to be receiving on a monthly basis. Again, doing this exercise on a monthly basis. Totaling that up will give you an idea of your monthly income, what you've received, what gets deposited in the bank. Now, this part's going to be a little bit more detailed depending on how much you really want to know the detail of where your money is going. You need to note all of your expenses, whether you use cash, check, or credit card. And yes, even those things that you pay for through things like a Venmo account or PayPal, third-party providers. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about with regards to your monthly expenses. Things like your monthly rent or mortgage. Now, these are what we call fixed expenses. You have them every month, and they usually are the same amount of money every month. But then you do have other fixed expenses that we call variable. So things like your electricity, your gas you pay for your car, those kinds of things, you're going to have that expense every month, but the amount is going to change. So those are what we call variable fixed expenses. And then kind of everything else is your variable expenses. Things like going out to dinner, grocery shopping, although you could argue grocery shopping could be a variable fixed expense. Going and buying clothing, going out and having fun. Those are expenses that you have, but you're not going to know what you spend on those items, and you may not have them every month. You might not need to buy clothes every month, or you might decide this month I'm not going to go out to dinner every night. Things like that. So those are your variable expenses. And I know it's sounding overwhelming, but I'm telling you, once you start to sit down and really understand and taking a deep breath and getting that understanding of what money is coming in and what money is going out and looking at it at least monthly, it does become easier. And it becomes easier over time because you start to think about it, not from a stressful standpoint, but you start to think about it from a financially empowerment point of, wow, I know that this is the money I have coming in and this is the money that I have going out and what I need to do with the budgeting process. So it does take some time. It might be longer in the beginning, but I promise you, once you get through this, you'll feel better. So now that you've got all your expenses summarized and you have a total for that, then you can take your income amount and subtract it from your expenses amount. And you're left with basically a bucket of money or an amount of money. Now, if it's positive, meaning you had more income than your expenses, now you've got money to spend. You can set it into a savings account. You can set it aside for a goal. You can use it for next month's expenses. But what if my number is negative? That means your expenses are more than your income. Well, that means that you've overspent your money in the month and you didn't have enough income to cover it. So you've got to figure out how you can reduce that. I mean, if you're going out to dinner every single night and you start spending anywhere from $30 to $50 a night, maybe you don't need to do that every night. Maybe it's easier to go spend the money once or twice a month on groceries so that you can cook and prepare and have food. It gives you a guide, a way to determine, am I overspending on things? Are there things that I could get discounts on, like my car insurance or other bills that I have? Talking to, the car insurance agent or the electric bill company and trying to find out, are there ways to reduce those expenses as well? And I know, like I said, this can be a little overwhelming. No judgment from me. And I just think it's important to take a look at this information. So my other thing that I absolutely want to stress is if you've got money left over, or you should hopefully have money left over, and you say, well, I don't really want to put it away into savings because I have to use it. And I say, put $1 away, put $5 away. You should be putting something away for that rainy day fund, the savings fund. There's rules of thumb to save 20% to savings, having up to 3 to 6 months of savings. And what I say is if you are not sure what you can save, put $1 away. Put $1 away every month. Put $5 away every month. It will build up. And over time, you will have money set aside for something that you really, really need it for. So I do think it's important for you to set aside money for your savings. Again, the beauty of this exercise is it gives you the insight to see if you're spending too much money, are you bringing in enough money? It's not to make you feel more stressed. Now, I know the process might, but it really will help you in the end to feel financially empowered. I truly, truly believe this. It's okay to have some stress about money or money choices. I think it's healthy to have a stress level when you're trying to decide on a $1,000 appliance versus a $5,000 appliance, or a $50 bill for some expense you have, or $50 sneakers, things like that. I do think it's important to know that, have that stress, because that helps you. And again, by understanding and having this simple budget in place, know what money's coming in, know what money's going out, and then you have a bucket of money that you can manage and do what you need to. Okay, so that is my money insight tip for today. It's time for a money break, and when we get back, my interview with Leslie Roth from Leading Ledger Bookkeeping.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, during the Jeep Black Friday sales event, get $12,500 in lease support on the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland 4xE. $12,500 lease support includes cash allowances and $7,500 federal EV incentive provided by lender as a capitalized cost reduction and is subject to change without notice. Lessees cannot claim federal tax credit on their personal tax return. Please confirm this information to ensure its accuracy and availability. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. Not all lessees will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery from dealer stock by 11/30. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Welcome back. I am so excited because my guest that I have today for this very first podcast episode is somebody that I met about a year and a half ago, connecting through some networking. She is absolutely amazing. We are both in the accounting world, and I love it. I love the fact that I'm sharing Leslie with you. So Leslie Roth started out in the accounting field, but she had changed her career. She spent about 13 years as an ultrasound tech. And then during COVID, she kind of came back into the accounting world and decided this is where she wanted to be. And she started and is the owner of Leading Ledger Bookkeeping. And she focuses actually on working with a lot of chiropractic businesses on all of their accounting needs. But her thoughts on money as a tool are so insightful and they just make sense. So Leslie, welcome to the Your Financial Maven podcast.
Oh, thanks, Samantha. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I asked everybody that I've interviewed or that I'm going to interview, what is money? And I love what you had to say. Money's a tool.
So as far as like speaking to it being a tool, I think only in my older years do I think of it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, just like younger years, of course, I always thought of it like, as what can it allow me to do? Like,
Right.
Money, I wanted to travel and just it was more focused about like doing fun things. And like, I never really thought early enough in life in terms of like, what can I use money for
Right.
Building my future and reaching goals. And, as you get older, some people have a different experience with money growing up. Like, I think that it was probably like late 20s, 30s, I really started to think about it as like a goal setting tool.
So true. Okay, so as part of thinking of money as a goal setting tool, I wanted to see how you learned about money, your money story. And you did send me your story where you mentioned that your mom was an entrepreneur and she had really good habits with money, but you watched her and she never really talked to you about money.
Right. It's like generational. A lot of people my age in their 40s like had a similar scenario. It wasn't a big conversation. It was almost like a faux pas topic in a lot of households.
I agree. And, not everybody goes to college after high school or when they leave the nest, but it's that age group, right? I would say 18 to 25, probably. Like yourself, interestingly enough, I know you said credit cards, you got involved getting credit cards because all colleges have those programs, get a free credit card going into credit card debt. And a lot of people I've talked to who are our age who've actually said that's the thing that nabbed them, the credit card debt. And it's interesting you mentioned that our parents didn't talk about money. They just showed us. My older son's in college. And before he went off, we were chatting with him and he goes, how did you know how to do this stuff? The credit cards, understanding about debt, loan. And I'm like, trial by fire, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people, like you just maybe get yourself into a hole and then you learn the lesson a hard way rather than like, somebody spelling out for you early on.
You were on your own, but then when you met your husband, you still feel like both of you had that similar experience of that, like, how do you deal with debt and the money? And what do you do? Like at that age, what kind of helped you figure this out, I guess? Or how are you still figuring it out? Yeah.
Still figuring it out. We actually have like been on a debt-free journey together because we both made past mistakes that we're still paying for. But like we decided, we're just going to be working towards being debt-free. And we are well on our way on that journey, which is great. It feels really good. And, just trying to like aim towards retirement. But my husband had a very similar story, like just not a lot of money talk growing up, just really fell into some of the similar traps.
I think the millennials, the Gen Zs, they need to understand this because money's become so much more digital and virtual that the ease of using money, and it is a tool, but it can definitely go down that wrong path.
I almost think like the ease of it and the virtual aspect almost removes the importance, and not the importance, but like it's not as hardcore as holding cash in your hand.
I think you make a good point of the importance to know your money. I mean, you would say that budgeting and understanding your money is important.
Incredibly important. Yeah. And I think that's really the first step is like the knowledge, like with anything in life, like until you know your facts, know your numbers, know your reality, like you can't really move forward in making decisions.
I agree.
What the reality of your situation is.
Like, how do you broach that subject and the importance of it?
Yeah, I think everybody needs a budget. And that is something I strongly believe, that no matter what your income level is, what your wealth status is, like everybody needs a budget, just because it lets you be aware of what you do have coming in, what you have going out, and then what your plans are for whatever's left over. If you have a surplus of money, what are you doing with it? What percentage do you allocate to whatever? So like no matter what stage you are in life, it's incredibly important to just,
I agree.
Just have a plan.
Yeah. And I think too, and you would agree with this, budgets are not set in stone, right?
So
they have to be flexible.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you that it kind of acts like a guideline, but it's always changing because you don't know if you're going to have some extra income or an extra expense that pops up, or, life just kind of happens. You have to be able to morph it constantly to what your needs are in life. There's
going to be stress there, but I think it helps you put it into perspective to make those choices.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Right.
Like it just gives you perspective on what your situation is, what you have to work with, and it helps you make decisions. And I think a lot of people look at it as maybe it's like strict and not limiting, but it's really not. It's not. Giving you a clear picture. Pretty much.
And I agree with that. I think people need to give themselves some grace with that and understand that your understanding of your money helps you make your decisions.
That's so true. Yeah, everybody has their own like goals in life, and everybody is so different and has different goals. So your budget is completely going to reflect that.
Yeah, I think so. And I always try to say that even with budgeting and understanding your money and knowing where you are financially and trying to manage your expenses, trying to put money away and save it, something. There are rules of thumbs. I hear 20%, I hear 6 months of savings.
Even if it's small, it's important to save something and like pay yourself at least a little bit. You never know what's going to happen in life. And I'm a big believer in sinking funds. So, looking at your situation, and do you have, a pet, or, if you celebrate Christmas and, you want to buy gifts, or there's just a lot of different things that you don't think until the last minute. But that's another thing that, you can save for, is just things are going to pop up, or like an annual bill, like car insurance. And you can say, okay, well, this boils down to like, I know with us, and other people may want to do things differently, but for us, will save monthly towards any annual bills,
and I think that's great.
Yeah. It helps because then it's just there, and it's not like, oh shoot, like this bill just popped up and it's a lot of money and I forgot about it.
I love your opinion of saying behavior and knowledge is everything when it comes to controlling the money we are blessed with. And most people feel more in control with money when they have the proper knowledge and facts about their financial situation.
Trying to be debt-free is a great concept. Okay, so earlier I mentioned a little bit about your money story and watching your entrepreneurial mom, and I wanted to ask you about your thoughts or insights you can give to our younger adult listeners, the 18 to 25 crowd. Although it's probably good for anyone at any age. Now, especially now, we're heading more into the digital age and when it comes to our money. And I would think actually that having instant access to our money makes it easier for you to spend it than, let's say, if you have cash on hand where you can see and feel the money that you have. I think physical cash may not be here in about 10 to 15 years. So I think we need to figure out how to understand our money in this digital age we're in. So what would you say as a tip or an insight?
I would just say, make sure you're organized would be the first thing. Like,
good point.
Like really know timing wise too, if you're doing a budget, which, I suggest everybody does, but really looking at the timing of your budget. Because I think a lot of people also get caught up in, when their bills are being paid, and as far as like a month-to-month budgeting scenario, just kind of lay it out when your bills are due, when your paychecks come in.
Their cash flow.
Exactly. Cash flow is so important personally and in business. Yeah. But for young people that are just getting started, like I know a lot of them don't have tons of knowledge.
Well, Leslie, thank you so much for coming and joining me and chatting with me. And I hope you had fun. And I would love to do more of this somewhere down the line. And
I would love that. Yeah, I had a blast.
I want to hear from you. Do you have questions about money? Would you like to share your money stories with me, like a time when you felt really stressed about money? Visit www.yourfinancialmavenpodcast.com and leave me anything you want to tell me about money. The purpose of this podcast is to provide general information on the subjects discussed. It is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. You should consult your CPA, accountant, or tax professional for all of your specific financial needs or situations. Credits: Producer, Your Financial Maven, LLC, and Samantha M. Besnoff, CPA. Music, composition, writing, and recording by my amazing cousin, Dan Shore. Podcast editing by Kris Zarnoch of KMZen Creative. A special thank you to the Seneca Women Podcast Network and iHeartRadio, and to P&G and MasterCard for creating and sponsoring the inaugural class of the Seneca Women Podcast Academy. A special thank you to my mentor, Katrina Norvell, for guiding and giving me the confidence that I needed when I didn't think I could do this. A special thank you to all of the women who are also a part of the Seneca Women Podcast Academy. You are some of the most amazing, brilliant, bright women that I know, and I am so blessed to be a part of this group with you. I am so excited for all of your podcasts and where things will go for all of us. And a very special thank you to all of my family and my friends. You know who you are. Without your love and support for me and my life-changing aspirations, I would not be where I am today. Thank you. Your Financial Maven is a production of the Seneca Women Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, during the Jeep Black Friday sales event, get $12,500 in lease support on the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland 4xe. $12,500 lease support includes cash allowances and $7,500 federal EV incentive provided by lender as a capitalized cost reduction and is subject to change without notice. Lessees cannot claim federal tax credit on their personal tax return. Please confirm this information to ensure its accuracy and availability. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. Not all lessees will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery from dealer stock by 11/30. Jeep is a registered trademark.